Hi, my name is Kristen Barton. I'm the news editor here at the Daily Toreador, and today I'm going to talk about the Campus Clery Security Report, which was recently released. I spoke with Ronald Phillips, who is a member of the University Council, and I also talked to David Parker, who is a member of the Texas Tech Police Department. Writing this story, I learned a lot. I learned why it's important for students and faculty and staff and just overall community members to have this information, to learn about crime statistics and the crime rates that are happening on Texas Tech's campus. So the Clery Campus Security Report basically just kind of looked like a spreadsheet, and it has some of the years in the past. Like, I think the one that we got was listed, that I saw was listed like 2012, 2013, and 2014. And it looks at all of the crimes that happen on campus, so all the things that like Texas Tech Police responds to on Texas Tech's campus, and it gives a summary of how many of each of the types of crimes there were, how many arrests there were, and information like that. They do a separate one for the Health Sciences Center, for TTU El Paso, for TTU HSC El Paso, like for all the different Texas Tech campuses. They do one for the entire system, but specifically the one for Texas Tech's campus, all students, faculty, and staff got in a Tech Announce email on October 1st. And the reason that it's sent out is it's actually it's required that any university that receives any type of federal funding has to send out the Clery report and has to notify all students, faculty, and staff of the crime that goes on campus for the past year. So the Clery report that we got on October 1st listed all of the crimes that happened in 2014. So it's released because of a federal statute that requires it. Any university that gets any type of federal funding gets this report. That way people can know the crimes that are happening on campus. Aside from crime statistics, though, the report also talks about the programs that the campus has to offer for prevention and education. And whenever you look at the actual report, you can see it's really easy to compare from years past. And there weren't a lot of noticeable jumps for Texas Tech for the Lubbock campus aside from drug arrests. Drug arrests went from 117 in 2013 to 184 in 2014. And when I spoke with Ronald Phillips, who's a member of the University Council, he told me that the reason he thinks that there's this jump in drug arrests is because there's been such a jump in attendance and enrollment. So as we see these jumps in these trends in enrollment, we're also going to see them reflected in our crime statistics because more people are living on campus. More people are living on the dorms, which means that these things like these drug arrests are going to increase. Whenever I talked to Ronald Phillips, and whenever I also talked to David Parker, who's an officer with Texas Tech PD, they both told me that the best way to kind of combat these crime rates and to combat crime on Texas Tech's campus is through things such as prevention and education. So programs like the new RISE office that Texas Tech has. The RISE office is Risk Intervention and Safety Education, and it does a lot of programs for students, kind of talking about things like Title IX, sexual assault prevention and education, and it's a new program on Texas Tech's campus, and it's designed so that we can prevent these crime rates and these other safety issues on campus so that we can prevent them in the future and decrease them and kind of assess the safety of Texas Tech in a variety of different ways and how we can stop that and prevent it, and give a lot of like educational programs and ways to help raise awareness for this. So Texas Tech, it's hard. Whenever I talked to Phillips, he said that it's kind of hard to compare Texas Tech to other universities like in Texas or in the Big 12, simply because there are so many different factors. It's not apples to apples. The biggest difference that he told me was that some campuses are in a more urban environment. For example, look at UT Austin. A lot of the crimes that happen on UT Austin's campuses probably also have to do with city and people coming in from the city because it's right in the middle of downtown Austin and it's so accessible. Texas Tech isn't exactly like that. Texas Tech is very set off from Lubbock City. So it's not a very urban environment the way other campuses are. Texas Tech is definitely going to have more crime than a college like ACU or Abilene Christian because it's so much larger than other universities. So essentially, the Clery Act is released, and then the information is gathered and all the data is looked at, and then the university, the police department kind of figure out the best way, assess the data, and they figure out the best ways to move forward to help make Texas Tech a safer campus. Another thing that I talked to Phillips about is he said that he feels like students are very safe on Texas Tech's campus and that it's like a community because, once again, it's not that urban environment. So people feel like whenever they're on Texas Tech's campus, despite these, these crime reports that we get, and despite, seeing that there are arrests on campus, that they still have this feeling of safety. If you want to read more about the Clery Act, you can find the Clery report online, but also you can read my full story online at www.dailytoreador.com.